like this.
They talk like,
Like this,
oh,
I'm not going to talk
so
like
you,
that.
yeah, you're going to go into your theatrical training voice.
They suggest, one of the stuff I read was they suggest you just talk like you're having a conversation. No proper like English, just talk like you talk,
Yeah,
not like you're reading something.
until you read
Well,
it. Then don't go into the slave narrative.
there
Yes.
you go.
Yeah.
Let's see how
It is quite interesting.
let's see if I can hear. Wow, yeah, you can hear yourself.
Oh, okay.
See if you want to hear how you sound. So test it. Can you hear it?
Oh, I hear you.
How's your voice?
I don't. Yeah, it's my voice.
So I guess when this is what it sounds like when you're doing a radio show.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Very interesting. I am impressed.
Mm-hmm. Whenever you want to start. Okay, okay. You ready?
No bedhead.
Welcome to the Marbury Mix, the show that puts the spotlight on family. I'm Dana Marbury, and today we're talking about family history, legacy, and the impact of it all. We have today a guest that I have known all my life, so stay tuned. Now it's time to welcome our guest, Janet Ford Marbury Hill. I'm giving you all the names there. I'm sure I don't have to. I may have missed one. Janet is, of course, my mother, and a mother of five boys. How many grandchildren? You have a lot of grandchildren and great grandchildren. So how many?
10
10 grandchildren.
grandchildren, 7 great grandchildren,
Okay.
including the first set of twins
Right.
in the family for a generation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which happen to be my grandchildren, so that's great. So
Yeah.
hey to all the grandkids. Thanks for joining us. So Janet, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I guess for over 80 years, there has been a path led that I'm an independent, unapologetically black female. I had the opportunity to give birth to 5 magnificent sons, to go into a career with Illinois Bell and AT&T, to retire from there at age 47 and be freed to do what I guess I was born to do, and that was to go into ministry as well as into politics. Um, that happened in my fifth generation, I'm sorry, 50th decade of life, getting into politics and having that cross paths with my ministry. I am now in position to just enjoy life, to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And I guess that's me, Miss Independence.
Okay. Okay. So tell us a little something that maybe everybody else doesn't know, but you kind of wish that people knew about you. Do you think there's anything that your family or your friends don't know about what you like, what you'd like to do, something that they're not privy of?
I am pretty much an open book, so I don't think that there's anything that's really hidden I love travel. Right now, the thing that I love more than anything else is being with my great grandchildren. God has blessed me, and I don't know. I guess maybe people might think of me as strong, but I'm really not as strong as I seem to be. That's probably the only secret um, that's in there. If people could see that I'm really a marshmallow.
Okay, okay. So now tell me about your immediate family you're growing. How many in your immediate family?
Uh, my brother,
Okay.
uh, and that's it as far as survivors uh, of my family
So it was you growing up primarily with your brother and your
and
parents?
my
Okay.
parents. Oh, and we lived in a time when the migration was full on. So at that time, my family was very large. Those who were migrating from the South to Chicago, many of them lived in the same house with us. So I have brothers and sisters and nieces and nephews um, that made my family expansive.
Okay.
Hmm.
Now, so primarily, I believe your mother had family that came in from South Carolina. Is that
Yeah,
right? Or
mom was next to the last to leave South Carolina. Her mother and oldest sister remained there. Uh, when Mama came, she was, I think, maybe 18, 19 years old, and they came. She came to live with relatives who were already here in Evanston. So, Daddy's family, of course, migrated from Mississippi. But they did not live with us. All of us, as a family, we were still separated because the majority of the family was in Evanston.
okay,
So just a hop, skip, and a jump away, a jump on the CTA L, and we could be in Evanston.
mm,
And that was it.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
And then your father is from Mississippi.
yeah. He's from Clarksdale.
Mm,
So he migrated here in 1933. So the Great Migration had not been, wasn't more than 2 decades old when he came. Uh, he also had family here, and they were in Chicago. Um, he and Mom met in Evanston. So, because he had gone there to run a revival, he was a young preacher then. And that's how the Chicago and the Evanston clans of the families came together.
okay, okay, okay. So, can you tell me a little bit about your mother and her influence on your life? What do you think are the things that really she uh, provided you and influence wise influenced your life in that way?
Yeah, it's funny that now, uh, as I look back, I can see all of her strength and wish that I had taken advantage of seeing it and living it when she was here. Uh, Mama was a very focused person. She always says, I have great willpower. And she did.
Mm,
Whether it came to losing weight or just being patient with people, she remained focused. I think that you'll even remember that she was physically strong.
mm,
We talk about how she was able to move pianos and refrigerators with no help from any male. And that is exactly the same way she was psychologically strong, able to see things and look straight past them to what her goal was, what it was that she wanted it to be. Uh, and from her, I think what I have learned in later years, or maybe just even subconsciously, focus, set a goal, set the parameters, move in your own way. Uh, those who knew her used to say she was unassuming. She was not. She was strong. And she knew that it wasn't always necessary for her to be talking. She could listen. And she either accepted what she was hearing or she didn't. You knew by the way she moved which side she was on. So I think from her, I have gotten, I received a sense of style.
I was going to say that that's one thing I really remember about
Oh,
her is
yeah.
her sense of style. So,
Yes. Yeah. So that is really at the top of the list. She read, as you know, she read every home magazine that was available. They came to the house. And just as her physical appearance was up to date, so were our living arrangements. We always had a home that I was proud to walk in, proud to have company come to visit because she just knew what to do. You have a lot of her in you, in that I watch you as you see things just slightly off kilter, or even to know that going to bed and getting up, the entire house may look different than it did
right,
before.
right.
I can remember my dad, I could hear him sometime. He's coming in late at night and you'd hear, man, because she had moved the furniture again and he's tripping over something that he didn't expect. So, Mama gave me a lot,
I
and
can
I'm
remember
happy.
the Architectural Digest being delivered to the
Yes,
house.
yeah,
Actually, I'd sit there reading them
yeah,
back, cover to cover whenever they would come in. So maybe that is where that came from.
yes,
Okay.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay. Now, your brother, you had brother, I have a brother, Charles.
Right.
Okay. So, any early memories or any memories from early childhood or anything about him that maybe influenced how you are today?
I don't know. As I think about my brother, um, it took us a while to meld. As a matter of fact, I generally say we became friends when I went away to college. He and his friends would come because there was a whole new uh, mix of young women that he could meet. So we became friends at that time. Growing up, Charles had the ability to get me into trouble where I never understood. Um, he cut off, I had very long hair and very thick. He cut off one of my front braids
Mm.
and I got a whipping. He was the oldest, and I would have imagined that he should have known what to do and what not to do. But I got a whipping because I allowed him to cut my braid off. Uh, he was mischievous, to say the least. And what made us kind of, I guess, I don't know if I want to say, no, we weren't co-conspirators. I don't know the word I'm searching for, but it is that pure and simple. He was the oldest. I felt for him anytime he was getting physical punishment. My thing to him was always, and I guess this is mama in him. I used to beg and plead with him that he would cry. He never cried. Uh, he took his lashings, I will call them, like a man. He would just stand and look at our father, and I would be the one that ended up crying. So his strength in that sense is something that I think of him now, that he is doing what he has to do to keep his integrity. And one thing about that is he's not going to cry. Yeah.
Did that affect you at all, or did you?
I always felt that he was too stubborn. And honestly, I felt at that time that I didn't know abuse. But I thought at the times that he was punished, it wasn't always fair. And a lot of times it was because of hearsay. And maybe that's why he was as strong as he was. Simple. I'm watching a show on TV now about a young man who's sent to prison for life for something that was just really ridiculous. And I think Charles was the early manifestation of that same thing. Why does he have to get a beating because somebody said, or because there is a suspicion of, but he was strong.
But let's go back to, so you said when he would do things to you, you would get punished.
Yes.
So do you think that they were trying to even things out, or because you were probably, I'm assuming you were a good girl, probably not a mischievous girl. Do you think that maybe they were trying to instilling a type of character in you where you wouldn't put up with people doing things to you?
I don't know. It's probably had that effect. I don't really know. I know that if there was anything that I could have done, as I tried to do with him, it would have been to protect him. He had this magnanimous sense of humor. Charles was known at our high school. He was the comedian. And everybody, we used to have every year what they called hijinks. And Charles was the resident comedian for 4 years. And people, even until today, think that he should be or should have been on stage with his humor. His humor got him in a lot of trouble at school, and that got him in a lot of trouble at home because he never stopped. He was always hilarious. And I think that's the way that he reflected his pain. I did not know that at the time, but I think humor is what kept him going. And because he would say, even until our late 50s and 60s, he loved me because I always laughed at his jokes. I laughed at his jokes because he was funny. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, we're talking right now about your immediate family, but right now I want to go back a bit. I've got some information on your great grandmother on your father's side, Laura Ford.
Yes.
So Laura was an ex-slave.
Yes.
She lived, understanding, was it into her 90s, or do you know how long she
Oh,
lived?
she lived over 100.
Over
She
100.
was
Okay.
well over 100
Okay.
years old.
Okay.
Yes. And I am counting on God seeing me as her great granddaughter and that He'll leave me here that long as
Very
well.
good. Very
Yes.
good.
And I must say, she was active until her death.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, what we have is, if you don't know, and I would suggest our listeners research this, but the slave narratives that were actually they were organized by the federal government during the Depression. The WPA as part of their arts program, where they would have people go up throughout the country, primarily in the South, interview former slaves
Yeah.
and put it in their words of what growing up as a slave was, but a little caution. Some of the language was probably translated by the people who wrote the or interpreted the transcripts in a way that they thought we would have spoken. So I asked Janet to read to us her Laura Ford's section from the slave narratives.
I'd be happy to. And I'm honored that we have some written word that records the history of my great grandmother. Laura Ford, ex slave, lives 4 miles out from Terry, Mississippi, with her granddaughter. She was born in 1852, was owned during slavery time by Tilder Granberry in Hinds County. She is rather stout, weighing about 170 pounds, and is about 5 feet and 2 inches in height. She is in good health. Her general coloring is light brown, and she is extremely neat in her appearance and rather stylish in her dress. Carries herself well with the typical old Southern air. And I quote my great grandmother: I fail to recollect where old Mrs. came from. She was a widow as far back as I can recall anything, as old master had been dead for several years when I was born. I know they raised my ma there in Hinds County. The master bought a young slave from some slave traders. This slave was young, strong, and a big catch. When he landed on the plantation, all the slave gals wanted him, and my ma wound up marrying him. The Granberry plantation was big, and they had several families of slaves living in one room, log cabins built back in Miss Tilda's big, pretty flower yard and garden. Everything about this plantation was kept by going by the blow of the old cow horn. They had a signal for everything: when to go to old Mrs. for meals, to the fields, and when to come in and out like that. This old horn was over a foot long. It was polished up till it was plumb shining. A cord was fastened through a hole at one end and kept hanging in the back piazza. The slaves were fed in a big kitchen that sat way back from the main house. The cooking was done on a fireplace that took up most one side of the room. In the summertime, we were fed in the backyard. We ate from tin plates and drank from tin cups and gourds. Water sure does taste good and sweet, like you are drinking from a mossy spring right out of the ground. We dressed in dark-colored homespun dresses, made straight and plain. On Sundays, we had lighter colors, and they were checked and striped. It was work, work, all through the week, from daylight till dark, in the fields and all around the place. On Sundays, we were good and ready to rest. The grown-up slaves would lie around the cabin gallery floor or on the grass under the trees. The children played. When I was a little child, we played jumping grapevines and swinging on grapevines and making doll dresses for our rag dolls. I was put in the fields when I was 10 years old. We weren't taught any book learning, but how to work, cook, sew, knit, and weave, and the like of that. Then we were taught how to be polite and how to treat white folks. We didn't have any churches. We went to meeting at the white folks' meeting house, and we were allowed to join. When we joined, we were made to promise to obey our masters. We did all our real worshiping in the fields. Out there, we could turn loose in our own way. We could sing, shout, and pray. This is one of the songs we used to sing out in the corn and cotton fields. Hark from the tomb, years of tender cry, living, living, come over the ground where we shall lie. Prince in clay must be our end, in spite of all power. The war come on to set us free. I don't know how much about the getting on of it as we couldn't read. Folks come through telling us all kinds of promises and how things were going to be, but I was little and didn't pay no attention to it all, as we didn't understand it. The slaves were all pretty peaceful like, but the war upset everything. Soldiers could be seen marching around and the cavalrymen riding through the hunting deserters, and food and horses all through the country. The first thing we knew, this land of ours that was so pretty was all torn up and ruined. It took years to get things halfway straightened out. When we were freed, I was 14 years old. We stayed on with old Missus a few years, then went out and worked for ourselves on farms. I married when I was about 18. I met Ford at a meeting one Sunday. We fell in love right off. We had 17 children. 5 of them are dead. We gave them some learning and they grew up pretty well. I have spent most of my time cooking for white folks. They say I am a good cook. I guess I should be, because I sure did the cooking in my lifetime. I am living with my grandchildren now, and I get a heap out of life as old as I am. My health is good, and I am taken care of well. I love pretty things. I like to dress up and go and look nice. I like to go to meetings and sing the Lord's praises. I like to see my race getting educated and going forward. It does my head good to see them riding in fine cars and owning their own homes. But they ought to live better. They are going too fast and thinking too little. Back in my days, you studied more about religion. As we worked, we sang old songs like Old Time Religion and the old Negro favorite, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. End quote.
Thank you. Now, do you have any memories of her at all? Did you meet her?
I unfortunately never met my great-grandmother. Though she lived into a time even when I visited Mississippi, I never met her. Until this day, I regret that. And sometimes I'm resentful because as much time as I spend with my great-grandchildren, I know that she would have been a marvelous influence. I see pictures of her and I see how much I favor her. And I just wish I could have hugged her.
There we go. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Now, your father, we know him mainly as Bishop Lewis Ford. Bishop Ford, big influence here in Chicago and nationally and internationally, as Bishop of the Church of God in Christ. I'm sorry, what was the term? The
The-
presiding bishop. I'm sorry,
yes.
presiding bishop.
Yes.
Um, so, but this is really your father. So, what do you think of him as your father? The influences he put on your life. What are your thoughts on that?
He was an exceptional man. I say to people, the best, God used him in a miraculous way. Uh, he was influential in helping me to see who I really am. Because of Lewis Ford, I know that I'm special. My being African American makes me double special. Having a background, a foundation in Christ makes me triple special. All of that is because of Lewis Henry Ford. I am grateful for the things that he taught. I'm grateful for the things that I saw him live. I think of some of just the common sense teaching that he did, which had a great impact upon me, and even how you uh, were reared. Lewis Ford was an exceptional man, used exceptionally by God.
Okay. Now, I know you had some early memories, early thoughts on him. I know you're working on your manuscript, working title Baggage. That's
Yes.
correct. So, can you, I want to impose on you one last time if you can read just a few pages from your manuscript that you're working on right now. That might give us a little insight into how young Janet saw his father.
Oh, I'd be honored again to read some of the things that, in my mind, shaped who I am, and which leads to part of what's going to be baggage that we carry as we travel. Chapter 10 out of my manuscript is entitled I Lived with a Legend. I had learned to go to bed worried that Daddy's life may be endangered any time he was not at home. He either came home or left late at night, going to or coming from some escapade. Whenever he came home, the aroma of Lang's barbecue, white shrimp, or cream of the sea catfish generally preceded his appearance and the recounting of the day or night's events, with a tiny bit of prompting from me in between lines. Daddy, what happened today? He would tell his stories. Baby, tonight we went to the firehouse to let the city know that they needed to hire more than one fireman. We laid in the driveway to say we want some Negro firemen given a job responding to these fires in our community. Since some victims of fires did not feel they were respected by the white firemen. And even sometimes they said they didn't believe the firemen tried hard enough to rescue their loved ones or really worked to save their house or belongings. But Daddy, I reasoned, what if a fire truck comes out and ran over you? His response, don't worry, God won't let that happen. Or on another occasion, me, Daddy, where you going? His answer, tonight we're going to ride the streetcars. Why are you going to do that? Because there are no streetcar drivers or conductors. What is a conductor? The man who collects the fare. Me. So how is riding the streetcar going to help? Daddy, when the streetcar stops to pick up a rider, we jump on the back and pull down the cable from the electric trolley line so it will not get any electricity. When we do it often enough, it gets on their nerves. If they get aggravated enough and get our message, eventually they will hire some Negroes. Me. That sounds so dangerous, Daddy. What if it backed up over you? Or if you get electrocuted? Don't worry, baby. God won't let that happen. One night, when Daddy came home, he was obviously extremely hyper. He told us, I just came from the Illinois Central Station at 63rd Street meeting a train from Memphis. On that train, they smuggled a friend and civil rights worker who had been working to get Negro people registered to vote in Mississippi. The friend was escaping from the Ku Klux Klan, who he believed intended to kill him. The man was transported all the way in a casket that had been rigged with a breathing tube. A hearse from a legitimate funeral home picked up the casket as it would have been there. A real corpse shipped here for burial, thus carrying out the charade. Both Dr. T.R.M. Howard and Mr. Aaron Henry were from Clarksdale, Mississippi. One of them could have been the escapee. Each time one of them visited the church, he would tell the story. But I do not recall him ever revealing who the living dead person was, any more than he called him Eagle Eye. The Klan missed getting that one. Just revisiting these incidents rekindled the angst of this girl child who so wanted more of her father's attention. The same one who felt so alone and fearful whenever he was late coming home or when he left home at time. Other fathers were settling in with their families for the evening. The thumb had by that time become a not-so-secret, constant companion, but it was unavailable to me now during these moments of recollection, as I now have the comfort of spiritual strength. Girl, you're going to have buck teeth. Girl, your mouth is going to be all messed up. You know your breath is going to stink from sucking your thumb. Babies suck their thumbs, not big girls. Your thumb is going to fall off, you know. Grown people must not have had much to do, or they didn't have the kinds of concerns that I had. If they felt alone as much as I did most of the time, if they felt unloved and unappreciated, if they worried about their father's safety and their mother's health because she had had severe morning sickness and several miscarriages, they wouldn't talk so much about my thumb. They would talk to me about how I felt.
Very good. Thank you. That was beautiful.
A little long, but sincere feelings of a young girl who was looking for her father all of her life.
Well, the young girl grew up to be a beautiful woman, very wise woman, and her entire family loves her. So somebody did something right somewhere down the line.
Thank you.
So I want to thank you for joining us today. This, once again, was Marbury Mix. Marbury Mix is going to be a mixture of families who have issues or
Thank you for having me.
thank you, Charles.